Hey there guys, thank you for checking out this video, and in today's video I'm going to be covering 4 quick tips for how to write more efficiently and faster in general. So it's important to know how to write fast and efficiently so that you don't waste a bunch of time just staring at a blank screen in Microsoft Word or Google Docs or wherever you tend to write your content. We've all been there. It's very frustrating. It's hard to know really reliable tips that will help you write faster, write more efficiently, and really build a system and a protocol for how you can approach every single blog post, or at least all the short form pieces of content that you write. These tips aren't necessarily useful for books or things that are longer in general, like a really long ebook or something like that, but these tips generally work for most pieces of content, especially blog posts that you'll be writing on a frequent basis. So the first tip is to afford time for your headlines. Headlines are huge. If there was one thing that I could have learned earlier in my writing career, it would be spend more time working on headlines. They say that about 75% of all of the attention and all of the potential that you're going to have for the post that you're writing, 75% of all that energy should be put into producing a great headline, because that same percentage of people are going to be the ones who find that headline valuable and want to click and at least read part, if not all, of your post. And the headline is what people see on social media. It's what gets shared in other websites and other web pages, stuff like that. So if you have a good headline, it's going to lead to a good post. If you have a bad headline, it's going to lead to a bad post or not even finishing it in the first place. So that's my first tip, is spend a lot of time on your headline, because that will really help you write the post and have a good idea of how to convey what you're trying to sell or tell to your readers. Tip number 2 is write your outline first. This is another huge tip that I wish I had in my writing career much earlier, because writing the outline allows you to get your ideas flowing as you're writing and not after the fact, if that makes sense. Or maybe a better way of putting it is, having an outline first allows you to see all of the pieces of what you're going to write instead of trying to figure everything out as you go. Because if you have your beginning, middle, and ending, or you have your 3 to 5 key points already, your mind just kind of organizes it better. I've personally noticed that if I create that outline first, it just makes it a lot easier for me to generate the paragraphs that follow that outline. So if you have your title and then you have your 3 main points, it just becomes a lot easier to get those sentences flowing. I don't know, there's something visual about it, and it just really helps me, and I would be remiss if I didn't share it with you. So definitely write your outline first and then add the paragraphs and all the content after the fact. Tip number 3 is save your research as you go. So this is really important, because spending time having to research a lot of your content after you've already started a particular post can end up eating so much of your time up, and by the time you've actually returned to your post to write it, you've realized that, oh, I just spent 30 minutes or I just spent an hour researching, when what I should have been doing is writing. So I save links that I come across in the Notes app. I'm an iPhone user. If you have Gmail, you can save links in a email draft, or if you have Evernote, you can save it there. But really, wherever you find it's easiest for you to save your research and your links, do that as you go, and do that on a regular basis, because if you do that quickly and early, it makes it a lot easier to pull those links and resources and be able to write about them as you go. And I've just found it just stresses you out a lot less if you have research already prepared, because then you can quickly pull it up and be like, oh yeah, this link I wanted to write a post about later, so now I can quickly review the content at that link, and then I can use that for the post that I'm going to be writing. So just save your links as you go. If possible, try and clump them into particular groupings. So if there's a bunch of links you found about blog posts in general, like how to write a better blog post, you could save all of those in one email draft. Or if you found something about the power of specific verbs or adjectives or just sentence structure in general. You know, if you have the opportunity to save all that together, it can really help you. But the most important thing is just to save your research as you go. It'll save you a lot of time and frustration down the road. And then the fourth tip is to use multimedia. So this is something that we as writers can often forget easily because we're focused on writing, and it totally makes sense to do that. But what you should be doing is using strong pictures or even video, and there's a number of other things too, which I'll get to in a minute. But at the end of the day, even if you're writing for people who love to read, people still love visual content. And if you have really strong pictures and graphics that are like infographics that accompany your writing, there's tons of studies that show that it's going to get shared more often. People are going to like it a lot more. I think they say like tweets that have images are like 2 or 3 times as likely to be retweeted and shared than tweets that don't have any pictures at all. And that's just one example, but there's a ton of research that you can Google and check out if you have any more questions about that. But the most important thing is, you know, add relevant pictures, find videos that you can link to or embed in your posts or your writing, and you know, it'll really pay off. People will like your content more. They say that if people land on a web page that has video, they're a lot more likely to engage with it, even if it just accompanies all of your other writing. It's a lot better to have videos and pictures in your content than to go without them. You can also do things like if you're working off of WordPress, you can add click to tweet. There's a lot of like plugins you can add that just pull cool things in that just really add like a visual element to your post. So play around with it and do some research, figure out, you know, what works for you. But yeah, those are my 4 quick tips for how to write more efficiently and quickly. Thanks for watching.